Kenya's ascendancy as a leader in clean energy on the African continent has been achieved through a comprehensive mix of policy, market-based incentives, and an ability to leverage its energy abundance. After solar energy, geothermal is the second most abundant source of energy in the world. Yet, geothermal makes up a shockingly small amount of the global renewable energy mix, contributing a little over 1%. To curtail emissions at the rate required, geothermal generation needs to increase by 13% a year through to 2030, according to IEA. Alongside geothermal energy is wind and solar generation, both of which have grown rapidly in Kenya. The East African nation is home to Lake Turkana wind plant, the largest wind plant and the largest wind farm on the African continent, made up of 360 turbines. In 2019, the Lake Turkana wind plant alone was able to supply about 30% of Kenya's off-peak electricity demand and 17% of its peak demand. Lake Turkana wind power consistently operates at a capacity factor of around 57%, a healthy margin above the global average of between 28% and 40%. Kenya's development pipeline for wind remains chunky thanks to the current energy policy landscape. Solar energy operates across Kenya, both at utility scale and through solar home systems. Solar home systems have provided an affordable route to energy access for millions across Kenya, especially almost rural communities, as it allows them to bypass central grid connection, which can often be prohibitively expensive. Approximately 200,000 rural homes in Kenya have the solar home systems, and the country sells between 25,000 and 30,000 photovoltaic modules each year, making it the second most dynamic commercial solar marketplace in the world after India. The momentum behind renewables in Kenya show no sign of slowing, and alternative issues remain around connectivity and cost. The energy landscape in Kenya is providing a blueprint for other African states to scale up clean generation to achieve sustainable development. Over the last decade, the Kenyan government has introduced a range of policies that have bolstered renewable generation at both the utility scale and at microgrid level. Having an energy policy that encourages scale at both ends of this spectrum has led to impressive penetration rates for an array of renewable technologies across urban and rural populations. Kenya introduced a feed-in tariff on electricity generated from wind, biomass, and small hydropower in 2008 before extending the tariffs in 2010 to include geothermal, biogas, and solar energy. Due to contextualities of each nation's energy system, the design of feed-in tariffs is crucial for determining their success and depends on factors such as time periods for support, graduated tariffs decreases over time, minimum or maximum capacity limits, amongst other elements. Although the feed-in tariffs has been effective at increasing projects approvals and funneling private investments into clean tech, there are ongoing discussions over shifting market incentives while details are still being considered. It is expected that feed-in tariffs will focus on less mature clean energy technologies like small hydropower generations, which have a generation capacity of less than 20 megawatts. For more mature, and cost-competitive technologies like wind and solar, it will likely be an auction model, which is common across energy markets, with focus on deepening cross-border grid integration through the Eastern and Southern Africa Power Pools initiative. These are other supporting policies that have enabled Kenya's impressive growth in renewable generation. In 2021, the Kenyan government introduced the Finance Act 2021, which reinstated VAT exemptions on renewable energy products ranging from small-scale solar modules and mini-grids to larger wind power equipment, as well as clean cooking technologies. While the VAT exemption has helped speed up the deployment of clean energy generation and made them far more accessible, there are concerns that it has more of Kenya's energy markets dependent on imported technologies from the likes of China rather than developing these low carbon value chains on the continent. Kenya has a long-term policy program that has clean energy at its heart. Kenya's Vision 2030, launched in 2008 and running to 2030, is a long-term strategy that seeks to further Kenya's industrialization while enhancing citizens' quality of life and protecting the natural environment. Through this program, Kenya has pursued political devolution, thereby handing greater autonomy to regional and local governments to shape and implement projects and investments in the sphere of energy, industry, health, and education. The rate of renewable installation has accelerated, and as a result, Kenya has garnered substantial investment into its energy section. A Bloomberg NEF report in 2019 ranked Kenya as fifth globally in terms of investment opportunities in clean energy. Geothermal abundance allows Kenya to flex its green muscles and build entire industries around it. In Kenya's Hell's Gate National Park, to the northwest of Nairobi, the Olkaria geothermal project sits atop the Great Rift Valley, where two continental tectonic plates are slowly coming apart. The energy this geological event is unleashing is essentially limitless, and unlike other geothermal stores of energy around the world, is relatively close to the surface and therefore easily accessible. The latest expansion at the Olkaria geothermal project will see its capacity increase from 86 megawatt to 791.5 megawatts, which is roughly 27% of Kenya's total energy demand.
I've heard of the geothermal plant here in Menengai, and Nakuru being one of the industrial cities here in Kenya, we have so many industries that rely on power. For example, we have these jua kali sectors, of which all of them, at one point or the other, we rely on electric powers to drive machines, to produce our products, of which by adhering to the buy Kenyan products and build Kenya, we will require a cost of electricity to go down so that we can manage to promote our own businesses, our own goods. So we build Kenya, we need to promote industrial evolution, and this, we are able to do this when the cost of electricity comes down. So we have heard of these projects of geothermal powers. One of them is already complete, we are waiting for it, and the two others that are remaining, I wish to say that let them do something to complete them, so that we can reduce the cost of living, employ more youths who are employed, because if you create our own products, we'll employ youths, of which there's quite a good number of them that they are unemployed outside there.
The transition capacity of the electricity generated from Olkaria also stretches to the length and breadth of the country, powering communities in the port city of Mombasa to the south, to the border of Uganda in the west. Kenya is currently the 8th largest geothermal energy producer in the world, behind the United States of America, Indonesia, Turkey, and New Zealand. The scalability of geothermal, which requires less land than wind and solar, has enabled it to meet a sustainable chunk of Kenya's power demand. As well as harnessing the power of the Earth's core, Kenya has made significant progress in taming the sun and wind. The estimated solar potential within Kenya sits at 15,000 megawatts, the same generation target President Biden has set for the United States of America for wind capacity by 2035. Current solar capacity in Kenya is over 100 megawatts, with the Garissa Solar Station making up 55 megawatts and powering 625,000 homes. By 2030, Kenya is aiming to generate 2,036 megawatts of wind power, 9% of its current capacity. According to the Energy and Petroleum Regulatory Authority, EPRA, 7.3% of Kenya's experiences wind speeds of 6 meters per second or higher at the 100 meters above the ground level, making it an optimal place to bolster wind generation.